Today, we're going to be doing a speaker shoot-off between these three speaker systems. So we have a couple of column arrays as well as a point source system. So we're doing smallest to greatest. So on this side, we have the Evolve 50, the RCF Evox 12, and the EKX system, a 12-inch powered speaker over a 15-inch sub. I really liked the speaker comparison from the Lavish Life of Peck, but the main difference is he had an 18-inch subwoofer and he was using the ELX line, which is the step below the EKX line, as far as like performance and price. We're gonna compare the loudness, but we're gonna also throw in a couple of other metrics because I feel like the usefulness of hearing the loudness on a camera like we have here is not the most useful. It's gonna be useful to me. Part of the reason I do some of these videos is just for myself, and I'm happening to film it. So we're going to do a loudness test and see how loud each of these systems are. But in addition to that, we're going to see like how long it takes to set up each of these systems. The column arrays, one of the huge selling points is that they're more convenient. They're easier to transport and they're quicker to set up. So we're going to test out today. I'm going to see how long it takes me to set up and how transportable they are compared to each other. And then we'll do a loudness test and then I'll give you some thoughts.
Let's talk about the specs and dimensions real quick. Note that the Evolve 50 has a 12-inch woofer and the Evox and the EKX have a 15-inch woofer in today's test. Just note that the EKX also has an 18-inch sub available as part of the EKX line, which I think is a better option if portability isn't a concern. The sub is the biggest part of each of these systems, with the Evolve 50 being the smallest at 44.7 pounds, the Evox 12 being 63.8 pounds, and the EKX, shockingly, is 57.7 pounds. And I have the dimensions up above, and note that the EKX is a little bit smaller than the Evox 12. And not surprisingly, the column arrays, their tops are really small. They don't take up a ton of room and they don't weigh too much. But the EKX, the top, the 12-inch top, weighs about as much as the Evolve 50 sub and takes up just about as much room. When we're talking about loudness and decibels and SPL, there's a little bit of math to consider when you're doing comparisons. So if plus 3 dB is doubling the power, plus 6 dB is doubling the sound pressure level SPL, and 10 dB is doubling the loudness to the human ear. So the Evolve 50, the entire system top and sub is 127 dB, the Evox 12 is 130 dB for the entire system, and then the EKX is 132 dB for the top and 133 dB for the sub. And there's a little bit of math when you add them together, but there's plenty of calculators you can find online, and it's 135.5 dB. And these are the prices of each of these systems at the time of making this video. I'm sure you can get discounts, and I have a coupon with Hollywood DJ, so you can click on a link down in the description below, save 10%. But yeah, price per dB, you're getting a lot more with a point source system. So the Evolve 50 is definitely like the most convenient to carry. The Evox 12 is pretty heavy and hard to carry like that, but it has the rolling handle, which is nice. And the EKX, well, I recommend taking 2 trips or a cart.
So each of these are packed in their gig bag as if I just unloaded the van and now I'm ready to set it up. So I'm gonna time how long it takes me. So let's begin. Evolve 50, fully set up, 52 seconds. Sure, I know at a gig I'm gonna spend more time like taping down the cables and whatnot, but 52 seconds ain't bad. Let's try the Evox 12. The Evox 12 is completely set up, about 1 minute and 41 seconds. Took me about twice as long. Now let's try the point source. And the EKX system is set up and it took me about 2 minutes and 11 seconds. And note that I put about 12 seconds for clipping this down and I did not do that for this one. So give or take a few seconds. So yeah, the Evolve 50 definitely like wins in setup time and transportability. The Evox 12 Definitely takes longer than the Evol 50, but we're hoping that it gets a lot louder. And what's funny is that like this sub is like way bigger than this EKX sub. But where transportability comes into play, like this tower is way more transportable than that 12-inch speaker. It's a lot lighter, so I think that's where we win. And this sub is not quite as wide as that sub. And also for transportability, like this subwoofer doesn't have casters, and this one has like a built-in low profile caster with like this suitcase thing. And as far as looks go, I think all three of these systems look pretty good. I think that the Evox looks a little bit more minimalist than the point source, but not by much. All right, let's go ahead and test the sound of these things. All right, so the Evol 50, I'm still blown away when I do like a demo like this in a situation like this, because it is loud, it thumps, and it sounds really good. So I think that you lose a little bit of the thump like in a crowded dance floor. So that's where people start to complain. But in like a room like this, it sounds incredible. And I'm still blown away like how much these can push in such a small package. Evox 12 takes that to the next level and is so much louder. And you can feel like the 15-inch thump coming out of the subwoofer. Like it is so much louder than the Evol 50. Like it is really nice. As far as like looks and portability, like you're sacrificing some of the portability for this, but it definitely has a sleek aesthetic that's similar to the Evol 50. And it is loud and it is proud and it's really nice. And then it's just ridiculous how much louder and how much better the EKX system sounds. The camera probably doesn't do it justice, but in person, it is so much louder and it thumps so much harder. Even though these are both 15-inch boxes, there's no comparison. This EKX one is so much louder, but I do think that an 18-inch sub would sound even better and give you those lows, but you do feel the thump, and it's a nice thump. Like this one, I think would do really good for like a rowdy wedding, but this one can do a school dance for a large venue. It just affirms to me that point source systems are just that much better as far as volume wise. It took a little bit longer to set up, and the aesthetic may not be as nice as you like. And like they have the ELX system comes in white, but the EKX system does not come in white, nor does the ETX one. But it is just wild, like the differences in volume. And what's crazy is that you can pick up this system new for not much more than you can pick up this system new. So you're paying a lot for that convenience. You're paying a lot for those looks. If I didn't care about having a white setup, I think I could just have the EKX system and then these two would just be redundant. I'm going to be keeping this Evol 50 for like smaller events. I think the Evol 50s are versatile enough for a lot of types of events. And this Evox 12, I think that this is going to be rocking with me at a lot of events. Why do they call it Evox 12? It should be Evox 15 because of the sub. But yeah, I feel like this Evox 12 is going to be a great workhorse. I enjoyed using the Evol 50 at a lot of weddings, and this is going to give me a lot more oomph. And then this guy, I'm definitely going to be keeping around for like school dances and bigger style events where I need more power. So those are just kind of the results of this shoot off. Well, thank you so much for joining me for this speaker shootout. Which speaker do you like? Which one would you like to see next? Let me know down in the comments below, and please smash like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.